Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to That's Shoot, my weekly episode of the show. We'll talk about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. And this week, it's predictions. SummerSlam, night 1 and night 2 are tomorrow, and Sunday. It's here, folks. Can't believe it. Still wish they would go later in the and if everything at the beginning would be, it's just too much. It should be near the middle or the end of August, so SummerSlam. It should not be the beginning of August. I don't know. I don't know what they think they're doing. I know that they're trying to stay away from the NFL as they should, but still, even like to have it like what would it be? What would the last day be? The last weekend would be the 29th and the 30th. August 29th and 30th. Sure, there's this whole now new week 0 of college football thing going, but that's not a really big deal. All the games are on Saturday, no games are on Sunday, and it's no big time game. It's not like Ohio State versus Texas. No, it's not happening. It's Mississippi State versus Georgia Southern. So it doesn't make a big deal. So I've always said it should be either the third Saturday or third Sunday in August, and it should be one night. I'm hearing a lot more people now coming around to my side that these pay-per-views don't need to be 2 nights. This needs to be one night. One night. You can do what you need to do in one night. You can totally do it. And that's what WWE should do, but they're not going to listen to me. Anyway, we're here to do predictions. First we do night 1, then we predict night 2. So let's get on with the predicting as my light goes out. That's why you may hear like some wind coming from my fan, because the lights. Alright, okay. Light is back on. Let there be light. Night 1. Let's start with a 6-man tag. We've got LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Royce Keys taking on Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, and Jacob Fatu. This could go a myriad of ways. We could see LA Knight here. Obviously, they're doing LA Knight for a reason. All this stuff. He's probably going to get the next shot at Roman Reigns championship. So you would maybe say, hey, who does LA Knight beat? You would think, okay, he beats Jimmy or he beats Jay on the Usos, probably Jimmy. And then he becomes a number 1 contender for Roman Reigns' championship, right? I can see that. I can also see where the Bloodline wins this, because the Bloodline, stays stays undefeated basically, and then LA Knight can win like some type of battle royal or some other type of match to decide the number 1 contender, for the Roman Reigns' World Heavyweight Championship. I think this is a 50-50, thing, but I think it's better to keep the Bloodline strong. So I think Jimmy and Jay, and there's also a part that Solo could turn on LA Knight and Royce Keys. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna say Jimmy and Jay and Jacob will beat the other team, and the Bloodline stays strong. Bloodline stays Bloodline. The women's 6-woman tag, the Nikki and Brie, the Bellas, and Paige taking on Fatal Influence. I think here this has got to be Fatal Influence. They wanted to do some stuff with them. They saw the night 1 heat that they had. JC Halves. Probably didn't put JC in the thing, but I think they wanted Tiffany in the match. This is her hometown. So yeah, I think this is this could be, a star-making performance. Some people are wondering that are Nikki and Brie gonna turn on Paige. I hope not. I hope not. I know they try to turn Nikki. See, at some point, when you have legends, like they're the ones that need to be the baby faces. Like CM Punk should not be a heel. Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes. Roman, I don't think. Well, Roman maybe could be a heel. But let's go. CM Punk. Let's go. Randy Orton. Those two right off the bat should not be heels. The fact they turned Orton heel for Cody, I think, was ridiculous. Punk should not be a heel. The Bella Twins should not be heels. Now, I do think what they are going to do is at some point they're going to have Paige go her own way, as they should, and they're going to put the titles back on Nikki and Brie, because that's what this past title reign was going to be. It was going to be Nikki and Brie, the Bella Twins, holding the tag team titles, up until, it was probably going to be up until they did call, have somebody who was ready, and everyone's came up and they're ready. So good for them. But they don't need to be heels. They really don't. So with that being said, I do think for the influence, the ones that deserve this moment at SummerSlam. So I'm gonna say Better Influence wins the 6-woman tag. Gunther and Nick Aldis. I really thought if they would have had Nick Aldis in the ring, it would have been Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce. Because in one year, it looked like they were going that way to WrestleMania, that it was going to be Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce. But they decided not to do that, and they went in another direction. So, we don't know if this is a new thing for Nick Aldis. We don't know if this is him coming back and being, being, an active competitor or not. Excuse me. I have this weird kind of dream / fantasy of, wouldn't it be great for Nick Aldis, Ricky Starks, someone else, and Cody Rhodes to make a 4 Horsemen of their own? Because at the end of Cody Rhodes' promo with Punk last week on SmackDown, he held up the 4 fingers, just like this, talking to him. So it got me in my head. Are they gonna give Cody Rhodes a 4 Horsemen like faction? And then someone said that there was a what do you call it, trademark for RK Rhodes, and there's maybe that Randy would come back and something like that. So a team with Randy Orton, and they'd be Cody and Randy. I don't know, but whatever it is, I can't wait to see it. So, but Goose is gonna win this one. Goose is gonna win this one. I would bet $25 on it. That Goose is gonna win this one. Liv Morgan versus Io Sky for the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm kind of confused about this, because you want to say, well, you're gonna give it to Io, right? But she won the King of the Ring for a reason. You give it to Io, but this is Liv's first title defense. Are you really gonna let are you really gonna just let Liv Sasha Banks her way, in this title reign, where as soon as the first fight defense you lose it? Are you really gonna do that to Liv? We just saw on Unreal, Triple H called her a ring general. So are you really gonna let your ring general not get more title defenses? So yeah, I think the more and more I think about it, I thought Io Sky would win this, but I think Liv Morgan's going to truly win this one. So, and whether it's by help of Judgment Day or whatever, I think Liv Morgan retains the Women's World Heavyweight Championship, and hopefully she don't get attacked by Hornets. Some people are going to be upset that this isn't the main event, but I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I want to know if this is going to kick off the show. Keep me interested. Brock Lesnar, Obafemi, Hell in a Cell. Triple H has tried to make Hell in a Cell mean more. We had a Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 39. We didn't get one until 2024, right? Like October of 2024, we didn't get one, and now here it is. It's SummerSlam 2026, and we get another one. What's going to happen here? Listen, I would assume that this is not going to be the 8-9 minute finisher fest that that we've seen the last two matches be. If not, then why the hell are we doing it in Hell in a Cell? I think there's going to be some violence, just like CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. There's going to be some violence. There's probably going to be some blood. They don't even have to do blade jobs. Just Lesnar can just take his elbow and open up over Femi like he's done in the past with Cena, Orton, and Roman Reigns, and Brock can open himself up by running head first into a turnbuckle. So it can. I think there's going to be a lot of things happening here. I think this is going to be one of Obafemi's. Without question, it's going to be Obafemi's longest match in WWE. I expect this to go, somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. I do think we're going to see a lot of finishers. Yeah, I do. Because listen, it took 7 F5s to beat Obafemi. I don't know. I don't know if it's if Brock Lesnar beating Obafemi with 3 is realistic right now. And probably the same thing with Obafemi. I don't know if, even though Obafemi beat Brock Lesnar with 1 fall for grace, I don't know if he's gonna beat him with 1 in this match. But I think the way we see it, unless something strange, weird is happening, there's one winner. It should be, and it should be Obafemi. And Obafemi should be, the leader. He should be the winner, and he should, be insane at this. Does Brock Lesnar retire after this? I don't know. But I will say this: if he does retire, he can't do the stick again. He can't do it. He did it for WrestleMania, and whether it was a shoot that turned into a work, or if it was a work that turned into a work, but you can't do the whole goodbye forever thing. You can't do that. So, and maybe Brock Lesnar wouldn't want that. So, that just might be it. So, but Obafemi's got to win this, and I think he will. Obafemi will beat Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. And And if there is going to be blood in Hell in Cell, I know that's going to piss off Cody and Punk. And I'm sure they would want to get some color in this match. The main event of night 1 of SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk for the WWE Undisputed Championship. I don't know. There was some talk that this had been long in the waiting for CM Punk. This title reign was long in the making. So is this what happens again? CM Punk gets it and he holds it again to WrestleMania? I wouldn't be mad at that. What I mentioned earlier about Cody Rhodes and doing the Four Horsemen sign and the trademarks of RK Rhodes and other things like that. Could Cody get it back? Can he get it back as a heel? I don't know. I'm not sure. I think these guys are going to put on a show. They're going to try to at least, and I'm going to be very interested to see how this does play out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go and say that if it is true that they had this plan all along for Punk, they're not going to just have Punk, hold it for a few weeks to give it right back to Cody Rhodes. There is something else that, they have something planned for Punk, and he's going to hold it for a long time. So I'm going to say CM Punk retains the WWE Undisputed Championship. So there you have it. That's all the predictions for night 1. Let's take a short break. Come back for night 2. Okay, so Sunday, night 2, we'll start with the Intercontinental Championship match, Chad Gable versus Penta. Penta has been a great Intercontinental Champion, great run, but they've got Chad Gable on a hot streak. I think this is something that they need to do. Put the title on Chad Gable, make him a bona fide star, and then just do what they did with Penta with Chad Gable, have him wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship for the next 4 or 5 months, and defend it a lot. So I don't think they will do that. I think it's a very easy thing right there. So there's no doubt about this one. Very easy pick for me. Chad Gable wins the Intercontinental Championship. Oh boy. Vince Russo's at it again. He somehow snuck into the WWE offices and somehow was able to make this match. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. Human Money's on a pole match. For fuck's sake. I think the reason why they changed this match is so that Danhausen can lose. Right? So that Danhausen can lose without him getting pinned. They don't want to pin Danhausen just yet. And that's the problem. Danhausen should always be getting pinned. Danhausen has become a character that will always be over. Until at some point in time. Now, there's some talk about him maybe being overexposed, and I get that. I understand that. I would agree with that. As a person who did not want Danhausen to be in the box, was not happy that Danhausen was in the box, but has kind of come around on Danhausen, I do think he is probably being overused. He should not be on both shows. He should not be on. He should not be on every week. He shouldn't be on television every week. Or I'll take that back. He can be there every week, but have him do what they're doing the first couple weeks. Out there with the T-shirt guns and these mini houses, and give T-shirt, say hi to the kiddies and things like that. And that's not on television, or that's not on Netflix or anything like that. That's fine. But the backstage segments and everything like that, there were people out there saying that this Monday, the segment with Joe Hendry and Danhausen might have been one of the worst segments they've ever done. Worse than the New Day, worse than the Old Day, worse than Bailey, This Is Your Life. worse than so many other things, right? So yeah. So yeah. What I would do if I was WWE, after this match, write something where Danhausen would undo the damage he did to Miz and Kit Wilson. Get them out of the trance that they're in, and then keep them off television for a couple of weeks. That's what I would do. Keep them off television for a couple of weeks, and then come back in a couple of weeks maybe with a segment that he's flushed. He's had 2 weeks to kind of flush out this segment, and then maybe try something else. Do that. So I'm choosing Dominic Mysterio to get the Human Monies on a pole match, for fuck's sake. A number 1 contenders match to see who will be the next challenger for the undisputed WWE Championship between Sami Zayn and Finn Balor. Now, we've just seen Finn Balor and CM Punk twice earlier this year. Will we see it a third time? I think that could be the case. But I think more than likely they're going to go with Sami Zayn, and that Sami Zayn earned his number 1 contendership, and then that would end up being Sami Zayn and CM Punk. So that's how I see it. That's how I think I see it happening. So, although it is very good always to have Sami Zayn cry and bitch his way and moan his way to do stuff, but I think they're going to have him be the winner here, especially if they're going to do CM Punk. It would be the rematch between CM Punk and Sami Zayn. I think that kind of just makes sense. So I'm going with Sami Zayn here to beat Finn Balor. Okay, Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin for the United States Championship. Trick has lost a lot of steam. He was hot when he came up, and he was doing a lot of good things. And I actually think Lil Yachty may have hurt him, because he didn't truly turn all the way babyface. And like Sammy hasn't truly turned all the way heel. He's acting like a heel, but he's still doing the whole "from our ride and dies" bullshit. And same thing with Trick Williams. Trick Williams is he's almost babyface, but still doing heel things, like not doing an open challenge for the United States Championship and other things like that. So, I think Trick Williams lost. He was one of my contenders for the stock falling. When I did my stock video a couple weeks ago for that shoot, he was a contender for that. And so we'll see how this goes. Because if he loses it, if he loses to Baron Corbin, then I would think, my stock would be major falling for Trick Williams. I'm gonna choose Trick Williams, but I do not know. I truly think we could see Baron Corbin, with the United States Championship, especially with him coming back in the way that he did. So, yeah, I'm gonna choose Trick Williams, but that's maybe my heart over my head. Cause I don't know. I don't think Baron Corbin's got it, but I'm gonna officially choose Trick Williams. For the for the interim WWE Women's Championship, Tiffany Stratton takes on Terry Gargale, Charlotte Flair, Chelsea Green, and either Julia or Lash Legend in a ladder match for the interim WWE Women's Championship. There are so many ways they could go here. You can put it on Tiffany, because she's from Minnesota, and she's but she's not, she's already the United States champion. You could have her win it, and she could be Tiffy 2 belts. again, who knows how long this is going to be. Jade Cargill, she's already been champ. It would make sense for her to be champion again. And maybe gonna say, well, you've already done Jade and Rhea, and is she gonna lose to Rhea again? Maybe, but you can't give her star power. And who says that she has to lose to Rhea again? She could lose before Rhea would come back. There's Charlotte Flair, the 14-time champion, looking for a 15th reign. In Charlotte versus Rhea, we've seen that once at WrestleMania 39, and it was a tremendous match. And I think we could see it again and be another tremendous match between those two. Lash Legend / Julia are underdogs. I don't think they would do it on Lash Legend. Julia might be an interesting play to do it on, Julia, to put it on Julia, because a lot of people are still hoping that Julia could show the signs of the beautiful madness that she was over in Japan, and the little bit we saw from her in NXT. So to give it to her would be a shock. I don't think Lash has a chance. If Lash makes the match, I don't think she has a chance to win. She's in that team with 9. I think that she's gonna stay in that for a little while. But then there's Chelsea Green, the underdog, the female Sami Zayn, the underdog from the underground, right? We all remember in season 2, Michael Hayes said that Chelsea Green wasn't championship material. She had a role to play. And that got everybody, including Chelsea herself, with their ass on their back. Even though it was kind of true. But hey, why not give Chelsea Green the interim reign as the interim champion until Rhea could come back, and then Rhea could easily beat her for it. But Chelsea Green would have had maybe a month, 2 months reign with the championship, and she would always be the underdog. And she would always find a way, to win. They booked, again, was this in the first Unreal, where the guy had the thought of booking Chelsea to win the Royal Rumble, where the two people in the ring would go out at the same time, and Chelsea would be number 30, and she would be the automatic winner. So they've already had her in plans to do stuff like this. I think they're gonna do it. If I had to put a weight on it, I'm gonna say Chelsea Green 30%, Charlotte Flair 25%. That's 55. Another 25% for Tiffany Stratton. That's now 85. 10% for Jade Cargill, and then 5% to Julia / Lash Legend. That's how I would break it down percentage-wise of who has a shot of winning this. And I do think it is Chelsea Green. So I'm going to say Chelsea Green wins the interim WWE Championship. Last, but certainly not least, for the World Heavyweight Championship, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. A match in the making for years. They've done a lot about this, going back in their history, talking about their past and some of the stuff that they've gone through. This is Roman Reigns. I truly believe that when it is time to put the title onto Oba, you do it with Roman Reigns. You don't do it with Seth. You don't do it with Cody, with Punk, Sammy, Randy. Do it with Roman. You've already teased it, so it has to be Roman. Now, whether that's at Money in the Bank in October. They've already announced Roman Reigns is going to be there. Whether it's at Survivor Series, whether it's at the Day One show of Netflix, whether it's at the Royal Rumble, whether it's at next year's WrestleMania. When it's time to put the title under open, he beats Roman Reigns. And for that, and that alone, is the only reason that you should, you need to put Roman Reigns. Seth's not going to get it. He's done great work on the mic telling the story. He's not going to get it, unfortunately. And they're not going to give the title to Seth for a shock surprise and then have Roman win it later. That's not going to happen. It's Roman. It's Roman. It has to be Roman. He'll retain the World Heavyweight Championship against Seth Rollins. So, to go back and look at the predictions, night 1, the Bloodline wins the men's 6-man tag. Fatal Influence wins the female 6-man tag. Gunther defeats Nick Aldis. Liv Morgan defeats Io Sky. Oba Femi beats Brock Lesnar inside Hell in a Cell. And CM Punk defeats Cody Rhodes for the World Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. Night 2, Chad Gable defeats Penta, becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. Dominic Mysterio defeats Danhausen in a Human Money's on a pole match. Sami Zayn becomes the #1 contender by beating Finn Balor. Trick Williams retains the United States Championship over Baron Corbin. Chelsea Green becomes the new interim WWE Women's Champion. And Roman Reigns defeats Seth Rollins to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. There you have it, guys. Predicting night 1 and 2 of SummerSlam. Make sure that you click the notification bell, because after each night, Saturday and Sunday, I will be doing a rapid reaction to each one. Make sure you're going to be here for that. We'll talk about what went down, the surprises. We may even talk about the match times, but the match times end up being very, very short. We'll have to wait and see. With that being said, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think about my predictions. What are your predictions for SummerSlam? Let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.